Alright guys, today we have it. A much more accurate draft than we did last time in Madden. Now, this video has taken me probably 13, 14 hours to make because I had to set up everything correctly. Then I go in there and make sure that the draft picks were the correct picks. It was a mess because the draft picks were not correct, so I had to trade them back and forth. So, with that being said, guys, today we have a very accurate draft. The only problem is, for some reason, every time I do this, Dalton Kincaid refuses to be in the draft. I don't know why, but I've done this now like 100 times. He's there, but then once I go to the draft screen, he automatically disappears. So, not sure about that, but every other player is accurate except for Dalton Kincaid. So I'm just going to go with it and roll with it and see how this draft actually goes. Again, like I said, we did this before the Cincinnati Bengals, all 7 rounds. Today we're just going to be looking at the first round to see where some of these players are going to go. Because I'll be honest with you, some of these players could get interesting. So let's start off with the first pick in the NFL draft. The Carolina Panthers are on the board. Carolina traded up with Chicago to get the first overall pick. And I think the pick is quarterback. Now, there's some rumors. It could be C.J. Stroud. It could also be Bryce Young, right? Either candidate, very good players. Let's see. The pick is in. C.J. Stroud, quarterback from Ohio State. This is not surprising at all. This is a player that, overall-wise, everyone is mocking to the Carolina Panthers. They met with him. The owner said that he loves him. Everyone loves him in Carolina. He is going to be the franchise quarterback moving forward. Now, here's the interesting pick. Texans. Because while, yes, they could go with the second quarterback off the board, Bryce Young, who is, in all intents and purposes, an amazing player, right? He is one of the best quarterbacks in this draft class. Obviously, his height being the biggest problem. He could go number 2. It's very possible. But the guy that a lot of people are talking about at number 2 is Will Anderson Jr. Now, the Texans have came out and said that it's not 100% they're going with quarterback. They might go with a different defensive position, where they say a lot of quarterbacks are bust, and they might just want to go with the guaranteed star player in Will Anderson Jr. So, let's see. The Texans' pick is in. Who will they be going with? Their pick is Bryce Young, quarterback from Alabama. So, all that smoke screen mirrors looks like it did not work out at all. So, now pick 3 is going to be the Arizona Cardinals. This is where I expect to see Will Anderson go or Jalen Carter go. There's no way that these two guys fall past the 3rd pick overall in the draft. With all Jalen Carter's problems as of recently, maybe he drops a little bit, but there's no way we see Will Anderson drop after the Cardinals pick, right? There we go. Will Anderson Jr., number 3 to the Cards. This is not surprising at all. Unless Arizona trades away this pick, it's probably Will Anderson. It's Will Anderson or Jalen Carter. They need to bolster up their defense. They have a lot of problems this year, if we're being honest, for Arizona. They're going to try to keep Budda Baker, but already DeAndre Hopkins is going to be going. Zach Ertz and their quarterback, the quarterback Kyler, has ACL tears they're working on. It's going to be a mess to see what they look like by the end of this season. But the 4th pick is in, and this is Colts. Colts, 1,000%, I say they go quarterback. There's nothing in me that says they won't go quarterback. And the best quarterbacks on the board are Will Anderson and Anthony Richardson. Hendon Hooker has been talked about immensely as of recently, though. They were saying that he could go in the 1st round. So, I'm not saying they're going to take him with the 4th overall pick, but Hooker is a guy that a lot of people are interested in. And it looks like right here the Colts might be interested in too. The player knows has never seen a window he won't throw into. A beautiful spiral on all passes. Very antsy in the pocket. Knows when to throw the ball away. Will break the pocket occasionally to throw. So he could possibly go here at pick number 4. But let's see where the Colts are going to go, guys. Will Levis, quarterback from Kentucky. This is interesting pick. So Will Levis is quite the interesting character. He actually drinks his coffee with mayonnaise in it. And he also eats the banana peel, like bananas with the peel still on. But he has probably the best arm of any quarterback in this draft. This guy can throw it from the 1-yard line to the 99-yard line with the ease. But the biggest problem with him is probably accuracy, and also he hasn't really faced too many big competition. So we'll see how he develops on that next level. So now we have the Seattle Seahawks on the board, and this is an interesting pick because they could go with Jalen Carter, the problem child, as you could call him, as he has had so many problems as of recently, off the field problems with a racing accident where he was racing when he was drinking. It was a mess. Then he went to his pro day overweight, so he couldn't complete his pro day. And obviously there was problems with him last year at his in Alabama, where he just simply wasn't giving it his all. Oh, sorry, Georgia, not Alabama. I'm sorry, Georgia, where he wasn't giving his all. And a lot of scouts said the reason why he wasn't going 100% was because he didn't want to get hurt. Who else could they go with? Miles Murphy, Brian Brees, or they could go with Anthony Richardson. This is a spot where Seattle could go with him. Listen, at the end of the day, Seattle, they have Geno Smith, but they have already told him that he's not the future, right? They gave him a big, decent-sized contract, but they let him know that they're looking elsewhere too. They're looking at all their options. So where will Seattle go with this pick? Miles Murphy from Clemson. This is not too crazy. Again, like I said, Jalen Carter, after all his antics, he might be falling or completely be off a lot of teams' draft boards. Even though he might be the best player in this draft, like physique-wise, listen, you act the way you do, you don't get second chances in the NFL sometimes. Detroit Lions. This is, I'm telling you right now, storybook ending. Because Anthony Richardson is 1,000% going to the Raiders or the Falcons. If you're the Detroit Lions here, already know Jared Goff is not your future. He's not. So why not go with a star quarterback that can back up Jared Goff, eventually become your starting quarterback? But then you also got to think about cornerbacks. They could obviously go corners. We got Joey Porter Jr. We got Christian Gonzalez, Kelly Ringo. We have a lot of really great corners. So they could definitely go defense or offense. I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure where they're going, but the pick is in, and they're going with Jalen Carter defensive line. So they're going to go with Anthony Hutchinson and Jalen Carter on either side. Listen, Detroit, at the end of the day, if you guys can fix his head and get him back in 100% ready to go shape, he could be the best player in this draft, and you might get yourself a steal at number 6. But you have to get him mentally back in this game because there are a lot of red flags around him right now. Number 7, I mean, I'm not trying to be a broken record here that Anthony Richardson has to go one of these picks. But listen, it's another pick where Anthony Richardson could go. So, let's see. Pick is in. Brian Brees, defensive tackle. Okay, I'm not against that pick. Now, Brian Brees, the biggest problem with him is he's what they call a project. He's really good at certain things, but he's not perfect at everything. So he could be a player that we see drop a little bit or get taken really early. The thing with him is he's good enough to be a top 10 pick. The problem is he's not developed enough. All right, so Atlanta Falcons, do they keep Desmond Ridder and keep this whole Desmond Ridder's our quarterback? Or do they now say, well, we didn't expect Anthony Richardson to be available at number 8? Joey Porter Jr. Okay, a star corner. I mean, shout out to them for that. Star corner in this draft. Not a bad choice right there. Now the Bears. Ooh. Because let's be honest, they would have loved for Jalen Carter to drop to them at this pick. But now you're thinking, if you're the Bears here, okay, so we traded the first overall pick away, right? Well, now 8 picks later, we have DJ Moore now, right? You could go corner, you could go edge rusher, you could go a lot of different positions here. You know what? I'm just going to I'm going to shut up and let the Bears pick here, guys. The Bears will pick Jordan Addison. So they're going to they have now, what's his name? DJ Moore, Chase Claypool, and Jordan Addison. Okay, so they're going all in here. This could have been a tackle too, also. But they have said they like their left tackle a lot, their younger tackle, so maybe not. But now they're going to just develop around Justin Fields. So they could have taken Anthony Richardson here. That's another pick they could have taken. But it looks like they're going to just develop around Justin Fields and create a superstar offense. Kind of like what we see out of Philadelphia when they did this with Jalen Hurts. And he just got paid big money. So who are you going to give big money to now? Who are you going to put around Jalen Hurts after you gave him big money? Philly, you're on the clock. Okay, cornerback Christian Gonzalez out of Oregon. Okay. Hey, listen. Both shore up that defense. I don't know where I thought they were going to go. So this is interesting to me. But I'm not against that pick. Tennessee Titans, you got to go offensive line. You got to go offensive line. You got to go offensive line 1,000%. Oh, defensive tackle. I don't know how I feel about it. It's not a bad pick, but it's interesting. Alright, so Texans got Bryce Young. Now, who are they going to get next to Bryce Young? A right guard to protect him, Cyrus Torrence, who is the best guard in this draft. So they're going to get a big boy guard to protect their new star quarterback, new franchise quarterback. Okay, I respect that. Jets. Okay, you guys might be getting Aaron Rodgers sometime soon. Who are you guys going to take? Swear to God, they take Anthony Richardson. I will die laughing. That's a smart move. That is a very, very smart pick. You could have taken Quentin Johnson here, but to be honest, going Broderick Jones, getting yourself a star left tackle, I am not against that at all. I think that is an excellent pick if you're the New York Jets here. Listen, you're about to bring in a brand new franchise quarterback. You don't have to worry about Anthony Richardson. You don't have to worry about going quarterback here. Go with someone like Broderick Jones. So we are now on the Patriots. And the quarterback draft class is still available. Anthony Richardson and Hendon Hooker. Do not tell me that the Ravens end up getting Anthony Richardson at 22. This would be the biggest draft steal, man. Alright, 14 New England Patriots. Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech. So they go pass rusher here. Okay, listen, that's interesting. Oh, here we go. Green Bay Packers. They got now Jordan Love. Is there a quarterback? Is there time to take another first round quarterback? Let's see. You go wide. If they go wide receiver here and they go with Dalton Kincaid's not in the draft. If they go with someone like Jordan Addison, I swear I think Aaron Rodgers' head might explode. Because all the times that he wanted them to draft a first round receiver and they didn't. And then they go and draft someone here. Andre Carter II, edge rusher. Okay, so they're going to butcher up their defense a little bit. Add a little bit extra pieces to their defense. I respect that. I really do respect that. That makes sense. Okay. Washington. You got a new owner. Magic Johnson. And the 76ers guy. Where do you go here? Okay, tight end, Michael Mayer. That's where we see our first tight end go off the board at pick 16. It's not a bad pick. It really is not a bad pick at all. He's one of the best tight ends in this draft. Obviously, Kincaid for some reason is not in this draft. But other than Kincaid, he is the best tight end in my opinion in this draft. So I really do like this pick. I'm sure with their quarterback situation that they somewhat have now, they somewhat don't have, they're going to have to figure out something there. But you know what? Put him alongside Logan Wilson and you should be fine. All right. Steelers. Corners. Corner. I'd say corner, but you know what? Left tackle actually makes a lot of sense. Biggest problem last year was offensive line. Get someone like a huge player like Peter Sharonsky here. I'm not against that pick. I think he could be an absolute stud for you guys for the foreseeable future. Not a bad pick right there for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 18, Detroit. All right, so you went Jalen Carter, a question mark player there. And now you go with Andrew Voorhees. Now, keep in mind, in real life, he actually tore his ACL during the Combine. So, he probably will not be available this whole first year. So, Voorhees will not be available until next season. So, if you are selecting him here, Detroit, you're going to have to wait till next season. Now, once he does come back healthy, he is easily the second best guard in this draft. So, he easily could go first round if he is fully healthy. Obviously, once he comes back, he'll be a star and gem for you guys. Tampa Bay. Do you go Anthony Richardson here? You don't have a quarterback other than Baker Mayfield. You have Baker for a year, right? Then Anthony Richardson sits behind Baker, and eventually Anthony Richardson becomes starter. Bijan Robinson. Holy moly. Okay, well that was a pick, wasn't it? I was not expecting Bijan to go to the Bucs here. But listen, if you're going all in here, you got Baker Mayfield, Bijan Robinson, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. I like that offense, man. That offense looks a little juicy. Okay. I respect it. Seattle. Where you guys going now? Clark Phillips III. Okay, not bad. Not bad. Cornerbacks. Add to that defense here. Chargers are not going Anthony Richardson. Baltimore might be able to have Anthony Richardson fall in their pocket. That would be crazy. Baltimore. Do you take Lamar Jackson's replacement? Cornerback Kelly Ringo. Alright, so they had the guy on the board. They had Richardson on the board and they said no. We're going to trust Lamar Jackson moving forward. I will tell you right now, that's a statement if you're the Ravens to Lamar there. Whether or not you want to tick off Lamar or you want to go with him. Because if you take Lamar's replacement, your relationship with Lamar Jackson is done. But if you don't, that shows you guys are committed to Lamar. Vikings. Lucas Van Ness, edge rusher. Not bad. They need to work on their defense altogether, so I love this pick. 1,000%. Darnell Washington going to the Jags. If you're a Bengals fan, you got to be throwing up right now. Because that was almost the perfect pick. Dropping to the 28th overall pick there. Oh, that's disgusting. Alright, Giants. BJ, okay. Cowboys. Jalen Hyatt. Over? That's interesting. Because we still have Quentin Johnston and Josh Downs on the board. And Jackson Smith-Njigba. And you're going to go with a guy who really is not ranked that high? Jerry Jones. He's entered the chat. Right tackle Cody March. the Buffalo Bills. Now Cincinnati's on the board, and if I'm Cincinnati here, I'll be honest with you, I am going with, I'm going to skip ahead in this draft. Next pick. I'm definitely going tackle. With, no, I'm not going tackle. I'm going Brian Branch. I'm going Brian Branch from Alabama here if I'm Cincinnati. Cornerbacks, Emmanuel Forbes isn't too bad. He definitely has some upside. You could go tackle here. Darnell Wright, DeJuan Jones. It looks like Paris Johnson and Antoine Harrison are still available. Tight end, obviously, if Dalton Kincaid was in this draft, he would still technically be available here. I'm not going to pick this pick for Cincinnati. I'm going to let Madden do it. Wide receiver, Josh Downs. Okay, well. And by the way, I have the 32nd overall pick because Madden's weird. You can't eliminate a pick, so technically you have to have a 32nd pick. I'm just going to pick nobody for that pick. But Josh Downs over the other options I do not like. I really do not like. Now, don't get me wrong. He could go first round. He's a first round wide receiver here. But over Quentin Johnson and Jack Smith-Njigba, I do not like that. I mean, if you're Cincinnati, you're like, listen, we don't need tackle. We have Orlando Brown at left tackle. Jonah Williams and Carmen are playing right tackle with Collins. We have enough guys there. But over Brian Branch from Alabama, too, I just don't like that pick. I mean, again, like I said, I'm going to let Madden dictate. And it even has the Bengals as a favorite for him. For a guy that they really do want. I don't know if I don't agree with that pick at all. All right, let's look at the next pick. Saints get Jackson Smith-Njigba in the 30th overall pick. That's a steal for the Saints. Absolute steal for the Saints. The Eagles, they get Gibbs at the 30th overall pick. I mean, even Cincinnati could have took him at 28, and I would have been okay with that. That's crazy. All right, so 31st, Paris Johnson Jr. to the Chiefs. That's not bad. So for this pick, I'm just going to pick the worst player in the draft because this pick is just a nonsense pick. It's not actually a pick. All right, and now we're going to just draft the rest of these for the Cincinnati Bengals. So, actually, no. Actually, I'm just going to cut it off there because the rest of the picks are kind of messed up a little bit. Because you see, like, this says 22nd overall pick. Or 22nd. It should be the 28th, but it's all messed up. Again, like I said, I had to, like, make sure this franchise was correct for the first round. So, not a bad. Overall, not bad. I think that was a W first round. Let's go ahead and actually skip forward here to the end of the draft. Just going to let it all skip forward. We'll see who the man selects for the rest of the picks. It's probably going to be nonsense, so I'm not going to be really too surprised if it's anyone good. Draft recap. Let's see who the Bengals had. They had Riley Moss in the second round. Zach Evans, third round. Nick, I've talked about him many times. I really do like him. Derek Hall. Davis Allen. Okay.